Hi, I'm Scott Tabor, Cybersecurity Specialist with the Michigan Small Business Development Center. Thank you for joining me for Cybersecurity in a Flash, Ransomware, Response and Recovery. Let's start off by defining what ransomware is. It is a malware that accesses and encrypts your files, whether this is on your computer, your server, or other devices. A ransom is then demanded in order for you to regain access to your files, and a ransom is often demanded if you do not want the cyber attacker to publicly disclose your files. This is a newer demand from ransomware and cyber criminals. So, how can you get ransomware on your computers and business networks? Ransomware is typically installed on your devices and networks through social engineering attacks, phishing, spoofed websites, spoofed downloads. Cyber attackers will utilize links within phishing emails, attachments within phishing emails, links within spoofed websites, links within legitimate websites, downloads from spoofed websites, and downloads from legitimate websites. Because of this, it is important to be aware of the attachments and the links found within emails, to verify you are at the correct website by checking its URL. And lastly, to verify your download is from a legitimate site. Trust but verify. Now let's focus on what you can do to respond and recover from a ransomware attack. This is not an exhaustive list of what you can and need to do, but only a snippet of what you can and need to do. Having business-class cybersecurity solutions. Have a written and tested incident response plan. Have accurate and protected data backups. Train and educate your staff and yourself about ransomware, how it can impact your business, and how ransomware infections start. Business-class cybersecurity solutions play an important role in preventing, monitoring, and alerting of ransomware. This means having a quality antivirus, anti-malware solution that automatically updates throughout the day, that searches for known virus definitions, that searches for unusual file and device behaviors, and that can alert you or your IT team of compromise. This also means granting access as needed and user privileges as needed for all users on your business networks and devices. This can help minimize what the ransomware will have access to on your business networks and what programs it may have access to as well. Initiate your cybersecurity incident response plan. It is important to have an incident response plan prior to falling victim to ransomware. These plans allow for a quicker and better response from your business during a very stressful time. So prior to a ransomware attack, it is important to create an incident response plan. Some things to consider while creating one. Identify your incident response team. These are the select members of your team that will help guide the process during a ransomware attack. This team usually involves people from multiple areas within your business. And these teams typically include IT, HR, legal counsel, and representatives from any managed service providers. For small businesses, this can really vary, as sometimes people wear multiple hats within the small business. These teams are also typically meant to be smaller in size. Practice how you will respond. It is important to train and practice multiple incident scenarios. Incidents are extremely stressful, so having practiced what needs to be done can make this time a little bit less hectic. Be prepared if and when a ransomware attack does occur. Quickly responding to ransomware attacks is crucial for minimizing their damage. Now let's focus on having proper data backups. Following the 3-2-1 rule for data backups can go a long ways in remediating a successful ransomware attack. This rule explains that you should have 3 copies of your data backed up. You should have your backups in 2 different media formats, and you should have 1 copy of your backup offsite or properly secured and accessible in the cloud. Having 3 active copies of your data helps minimize the risk that all of your data backups are impacted by the ransomware attack. Having your backup stored on 2 different media types allows the ability to restore your data if one method is no longer feasible. Lastly, having a copy offsite or potentially in the cloud minimizes the risk of that copy being corrupted by the ransomware attack. It is important to also verify your backups are accurate and up to date, that they are not impacted by the ransomware attack, and that you can actually restore from them. Having proper data backups can get your small business back to what it does best, being a small business. Lastly, let's talk about training yourself and your staff. This just might be the most important thing you can do to help prevent falling victim to ransomware. You can have all the right cybersecurity solutions, rules, and configurations in place and still fall victim to ransomware if you and your staff are not trained and educated on the risks of ransomware. The human element to preventing ransomware is critical. Proper training in identifying suspicious emails and websites can help minimize the chances of ever installing ransomware to begin with, minimizing your risk factor. Thanks again for joining me, Scott Tabor, Cybersecurity Specialist from the Michigan SBDC, for Cybersecurity in a Flash, Ransomware Response and Recovery.